I'm not going to say any more about what we just said because that speaks for itself. But I just wanted to mention something that to say, another thing that this is the one I've been aware of that person's like, because this is something that I did end up learning a lot about on my own. A lot is, to take it with a grain of salt, but I mean, just to mention it, since this was something we're mentioning now, like things not taught in a general education in our country. Do you know that it's not part of a general education to learn about women's rights and the history of women's rights in this country? I made a like that's something for like it's like if someone's in the particular type of college and then takes what's called like a gender studies class or something. But no, it's not part of a general education. The thing I always mentioned in like an earlier video about that, I actually did mention that a long time ago but it was just about one thing, but which is that I never met that many women educated in American in general education in America who ever knew, like I would always about the woman who threw herself in front of a horse on the at like one of the major racetracks and shouted votes for women and jumped under the horses to her death for women to have the right to vote. That's not taught except in like a special class at the liberal college on feminist studies or something. Absolutely, there's nothing in general education about women's rights. And that was something that, for a bunch of reasons, like that was one thing I got some self education about, but because of other but for certain reasons, but not really, of course. That's another thing, and the truth is that that CD, that talk I was listening to today that Christian Parenti gives, he talks also about this issue of what he calls hidden histories of rebellion. That is like all kinds of courageous movements and acts of rebellion that move society along, or that's not taught either. That's considered like, but he just said it's like as though they're hidden. But no, there isn't general education about the history of women's rights in our country and things like that. As a matter of fact, it's part of why there's sort of an attitude that those kind of things are something like what's called a feminist knows about. Like it's not a general education on on just the women's rights movement in America. Is part of a general education. There's an awful lot of things like that. If I just adding in real time. I don't know if this is as useful as the one you just prompted me to make about Nelson Mandela, but there's all kinds of things like that that are not part of an education in this country. Just to mention it.